Hello everyone, welcome to DevOps and Cloud Labs. We are doing this series of DevOps and Cloud projects ideas. So you can take input from such projects, such discussions. Won't be a very long video. We'll give you an idea what is a good project in DevOps and Cloud. From a good project, I mean which you can take into any of your DevOps and Cloud interviews, not just some specific. So how we have come up with this idea is that most of the organizations will be using some sort of compute. So they may be using auto-scaling groups in the context of AWS, but you can also apply this in Azure as well. They will be creating VM scale set in Azure. They will be creating, say, Elastic Beanstalk, where you are basically creating EC2 instances. You may be creating Kubernetes clusters, where you are using worker nodes. All these are examples of compute instances in AWS, and when you are creating such instances, you have to give a sort of AMI name. So Amazon Machine Image. Organize like in day-to-day projects or YouTube, you will see that some basic AMIs are used. So you start with, say, Ubuntu 22 or you start with a Red Hat or a Windows AMI. But in reality, most of the organizations have fine-tuned these AMIs. They don't use the base AMIs that AWS or Azure provides. What organizations really like to do is add additional softwares that they want to use, add additional antivirus or monitoring agents, say CloudWatch agents, or if they are using Datadog or Sumo Logic for monitoring observability, add those agents on top of those machines. And because they are part of, say, auto-scaling group or Kubernetes node group, then you don't want these machines to take a lot of time to come up. If you're how you typically do scaling in cloud is that the average CPU of your cluster is beyond a threshold, you add more instances. At that point in time, you don't want to waste a lot of time installing these softwares that you really need. So these packages, these software should be already packaged in your AMI that you are selecting. So that is the motivation behind building a Amazon Machine Image or an AMI. The other motivation is that you want to build golden images. You don't want to use any random image and then install packages on top of it from speed point of view, but also you want to make sure that your security group within the organization, as a DevOps engineer, cloud engineer, you are working with different teams. So you take approval from them, or you convince them that the images that you are using are actually approved by you. So whatever softwares they need, whatever firewalls or whatever other items they need on that machine, they are already pre-packaged. So it ensures the entire process ensures that you can repeatedly build those images. The process ensures that the company's approved softwares are already available on those machine images. The process ensures that when you really need those machines, you don't have to spend time building those machines, those images. So it's a fast process. Your machines start serving traffic much easily, much faster. So how do you build those images? So there are 3 or 4 different approaches actually you can build these images. There is a built-in AWS native tool that AWS Image Builder, where you can build these images, you can add more packages and stuff. Again, not many organizations actively use that. These are some of the tools that cloud providers do provide for completion point of view, but not actively used. The other use case could be that you use Ansible to build these images. You can provision an EC2 instance using Terraform or something, and then you can build this entire process and use Ansible to install those packages on top of those EC2 instance. Take an image, basically create an AMI in that your pipeline process, and then destroy that image, destroy that EC2 instance. That's something you can build a separate pipeline for yourself. The third process, which is actively used or heavily used in the organizations, is using HashiCorp Packer, which can do this entire process that I spoke to you just now of taking a base image, installing softwares, creating an AMI from that, storing in different accounts and different regions, and then terminating the EC2 instance. That Packer is built for this use case, which can provision just like Terraform can provision. It's a HashiCorp product, can provision in AWS, Azure, GCP, and all other cloud platforms. So do use this tool. Build maybe basic 50 to 100 lines of code or even less to build a golden image for your organization that you can then use in your Kubernetes cluster or your auto-scaling groups or your Elastic Beanstalk, wherever you need EC2 instances to be created. The basic requirement is to provide an AMI ID. So instead of using a public AMI ID from Ubuntu or Red Hat or Windows, use your own created AMI ID. Now, what happens with this is that you cover a lot of organizations' use case. Most of the organizations want golden images to be created. I have a detailed dedicated video on this on my channel. So what happens is that you can now show this project into any of your interview in every resume, and this will automatically connect with the interviewer, because it's a use case relevant for every organization. It's not a random use case. Obviously, it will not be very useful in case the organization is completely on serverless. They're only using Lambda functions or Azure functions. That's the only place where this will probably not work. But that's very rare scenario where company can manage all of its activities in terms of functions and not using any instance at all. So with that in mind, think of this as a project that you can take and explain in any of your interview. Interviewer will very quickly connect with it, understand why you did it, what was the motivation, how you did it, choosing the right tools, building the right pipelines to create these AMIs, how to distribute these AMIs in different regions and in different accounts, these nuances around this process. You need to understand that, and obviously whenever you are building such projects, understand some best practices. So I'll leave it to you guys how you want to do your research using ChatGPT or official documentation. Read about this, build a good project around it, and showcase in your resume and shine. And keep watching for more such project ideas coming soon on this YouTube channel. See you.